right, welcome back. Welcome to the solo show, the solo excursion, the solo talk, the only time you're ever going to see me from here on out, physically from now on. This is the new rule, I'm jumping right in. We're getting right in, ladies and gentlemen. And because this came from up top, this came from the higher ups. They told me, they looked at, what I've been doing, and they had some notes for me, and they said, listen, if you're going to have guests on and their cameras aren't on, you can't have your camera on. If one person has no camera, no people have no cameras. That was straight from up top, straight from the higher ups. That was from Melissa. She said, listen, it's weird. It's weird when it's just your face. And so if your guest doesn't have a camera, you don't get to have a camera. So moving forward, I will be obscured by cover art as long as my guests are obscured by cover art. And I have topics for this morning, this evening, this afternoon. It's evening for me. I wanted to record this now. Rather than morning time, because if I start talking in this space in the morning time, my son, when he wakes up in the middle of the night, he comes down and he sleeps on the couch, and I don't want to. You know how it is. You guys know how. If you got any kids, you do not want to wake the sleeping child. Every time that you have away from the chillin' is precious, and so that's why I'm recording this now. It's raid night for the Faceless crew, and I got some topics for us. We'll be joining raids in about 30 minutes, so I could, have some time to get this in. I want to go through these topics right here at the intro, so you know what's on the docket for this quick episode. You can jump around if you want. So we got. I've had some trouble grouping this weekend on Teek. I'm going to talk about that. We've got Path of Exile 2. We've got Lord of the Rings Online again. We've got Pantheon PvP. And then we've got the camera thing, which I have already addressed. So we don't have to talk about that anymore. And then we've got upcoming guests. I'm very, very much excited. I'm excited about how the podcast is going. I'm excited about the guests that we've been having on, the ones that have recorded with me and shown up. It's been amazing. It's reinvigorating my creative spirit, my engagement with the world of Norath and online gaming. So super grateful, super glad for everybody listening, commenting, sending me messages. It's very inspiring for me, and I want to keep doing it. That's the goal. The goal is, can I do something consistently for an extended period of time? We will see. That's the question. And can I stick to one area of interest also? And let's start with the first topic. Trouble grouping on Teek. So, okay, this weekend I logged on my Bard. I've got a level 60 Bard, and I wanted to get some XP this weekend to try to get him up to 65. And so I logged on Friday night, and there was nobody. I mean, I was maybe on Eastern Standard Time Friday from like 8 to 11, I think. And there was nobody levels 60 to 64 on /whoall looking for group. There was not a single soul. And I kept posting 60 Bard looking for group, and never got any bites. And I know what you're thinking, sweet listeners. I know you're thinking, why didn't you start a group? And it's because I wanted the fire XP. I wanted the Plane of Fire experience. And I guess I could have if I would have started one, but I didn't. I didn't start one. I played my Shadow Knight for a little bit, continuing to keep my eyes on the looking for group. I posted in the guild Discord I was looking for group, and it didn't happen. And I never saw anybody from level 60 to 64 looking for group. So that was a bit of a trouble. And then Saturday night rolled around, and I was like, hey, why don't I try again? But this time let's try with my main character. Let's try with Smouse. And keep an ear open for a potential opportunity for the bard, my bard, to get some play action. And Saturday night was the same thing. I didn't see anything really going on. I think there was 14 people that were looking for group that were level 65. And other than that, no real luck. So you know, and my thoughts are, it's probably because it was weekend, you know, primetime Friday night, Saturday night. I know we have the GDKP's Friday night for Faceless, and I know everybody was doing that. And they don't get done till like 11 o'clock anyway. And then I know Saturday night, you know, I'm sure people are raiding, or yeah, I think a lot of other guilds raid that night. So my thoughts are, I think it was just bad timing on my part, because last week during the weekdays, I didn't have much trouble. I didn't have any trouble finding groups. And I think that, as you know, as the game is, there's no real great looking for group tools other than / looking for group. And I think everybody's kind of this long in the server's life, you know, now that we're in the Plains of Power and we're like middle, almost near the end of Plains of Power. I think everybody's kind of got their own niche crew that they're playing with, or their guild. And I'm so sporadic with my playtime. I don't ever really know for sure if I'm going to have, you know, more than an hour at a time. Like that's the thing for me. I need at least an hour and a half totally free to be focused for group play. And weeknights it can go well for me because the boy's asleep, my lady's working or she's resting, and I can sit here and grind some. But yeah, I think most of this is me stuff. It's not Teek's fault. It's not Everquest's fault. I just thought it was, you know, interesting to look at. And I was talking to somebody on Discord today, trying to come up with some form of a solution in our guild to make it easier for people like me that have open windows of time to group. Is there a way to create a channel that we can notify each other or go on some sort of a list and we can see that list when people are available, kind of like its own looking for group finder thing? And I'm interested in looking into that some more. I have not yet, other than just talking about it now and talking with, who was I talking with? Clucifer. Me and Clucifer were talking this morning about it. He said that it's ripe for debauchery. He said that there's a high, because we've got so many people in the guild, it could potentially just get chaotic. So I don't know. I'll continue looking into that. Hopefully I will. Listen, I can tell you guys this much. I have hope. I have hope for me. I have hope for us. Path of Exile 2. Okay. I got the game about 2 weeks ago. I went ahead and got it early access. I had a good spell of playing Path of Exile 1. I didn't get into Path of Exile. I probably tried it 3 or 4 times through the course of its release and never really got into it until this summer. I finally followed the directions of every YouTuber I've ever listened to who talks about Path of Exile when they say, find a build, find a guide, follow the build guide, and you will have a good time. And they've all said it. And I was always like, no, dude, no, it's a game. I get to figure out how I want to play my game the way that this game is. Like, I get to pick my skills. That's the fun for me. I want to do it my way, you know? And it never worked out. I never was able to enjoy it. I never felt like I progressed well. I would stop at level 20, 23, I was dying all the time. I mean, I don't know. But this summer, I followed the advice of all the YouTube content creators, and I started up Path of Exile, and I followed a build guide. I'll tell you what guide I did. It was the I've got it saved here because I constantly had to refer to it while playing. The Frostblades of Catabasis Slayer build. And let me tell you, it was awesome. I probably got a solid 100 hours of good times playing Path of Exile 1. It was when they released I joined when they released the shipment thing, or like the captain of your vessel thing, where you basically like there's a town that you run and you send your ships out for loot and you like build it with supplies and stuff while you play. And that mechanic was so cool because it really felt like I was building my town as I was progressing my character. So there was like 2 progression paths, and then you got so much awesome loot every 45 minutes from your town, from the ships that would go out, that it was really dopamine days on days on days for 100 hours. It was great. And I had fun. So when Path of Exile 2 came out, everybody's talking about it. I just decided to wait. And a couple weeks ago, I decided to go ahead and get it. And I want to share this. And before I share it, I want to just encourage everyone to have their own experience with games. Don't take my perspective to heart. I'm a person in a certain time of my life and a certain temperament in my being. Certain times games land when other times, whatever is going on in your own life, it doesn't connect with the game at that time. But then if you try it again a little bit later, something clicks and it's there. So I just want to make that caveat clear before I share my opinion on the current state of Path of Exile 2. And it's fun. It's cool. I liked how challenging it was when I first started playing, and I think I died once, and then I was like, oh, I've got to be careful, or I've got to really dodge here, and I got to keep my distance, and that was fun. And then I kind of got a hang of it. I started as a monk, and I got a hang of it, and I played, I think I've got maybe 11 to 13 hours of it on Steam. So maybe not enough for a strong, solid opinion, but the whole time I was playing, or when I did play, nothing really drew me back to it. Nothing was really calling me to log back in and to keep playing. And I was doing it because I wanted to, just needed something to do with my hands, at certain times when you've got an hour for gaming, and there's no raids and no EverQuest happening. It's like, let's play this, and the graphics are great, the sound design's great, the combat's fun, but it's missing. The best way for me I can say is it feels like an easy bake oven cake that's on its way to being a great, fulfilling, hearty, pound cake. And it's just not fully baked yet. That's what it feels like. There's something missing. There's some sort of just a depth or like a fullness to it. So like if you're curious about Path of Exile 2 and you've never played Path of Exile 1, by all means do what you want to do. Path of Exile 1's still a great game. Follow a build guide. You could do that too. So yeah, I played Path of Exile 2 again the other night, and yeah, it's not really gripping me. And that's what Path of Exile 2 is at for me. I'm going to continue to check in, continue to play it, dabble, I assume. But the last 2 days I've been on to Lord of the Rings Online again. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I think it was Sunday. I was just like, I don't want to try to group again Sunday because I didn't know how long I could stay up Sunday night, and I loaded it up, and it's a fun thing to do with your hands. It's a nice world. I'm in the middle of the Mines of Moria. I want to go through the game. My goal when I was playing last year was like, I got to get to Mines of Moria. So I managed to do that, but now I'm in the Mines of Moria, and it's a very aesthetically pleasing and comforting tone, the Lord of the Rings Online. The game feels that way. It's somewhat depending on the class you play, it can become somewhat repetitive. And I'm playing a warden, which the gameplay of the warden is I really enjoy personally, just because it's like you have to remember combos to activate your skills. And so it's a very active style of gameplay. You're It's almost like combos in Street Fighter or combos in Dynasty Warriors or any fighting game, Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct, killer combos. You there's these combos that you have to click through your keypad to activate the skills, and yeah, it's just fun. It's fun. It's kind of a fun flow state to fight through monsters and go through quests, and it's just something relaxing to play for my brain to shut off for a little bit and just enjoy the glooming deep mines of Moria. And I'd like to just plug away at it when I can and eventually get out of those glooming deep mines of Moria. It's gloomy down there, guys. A lot of spiders, there's a lot of orcs. It's beautiful too. There's these giant architectures. You'll like turn a corner and you'll see this like two giant dwarf statues and just like lighting in the caverns in the distance. And the music's great. And I play, what server do I play on? Arkenstone. And there's people always chatting in the world chat all about all sorts of stuff. Pretty awesome community. So it's just a nice game to relax to and just turn the brain off and play. And then the third game, Pantheon. It's on my mind. It's whispering to me. It's whispering behind my it's whispering somewhere behind my eyes. It's like saying, you want to try it. You want to play it. And I haven't gotten it yet. I know I'm going to. I know the Faceless is preparing for the PvP server that's coming out and we don't have a date specifically, but the word on the street is February-ish. There's going to launch a PvP server. And so I'm thinking about getting it. I'm thinking about getting it because I want to see what happens. That sounds like fun, watching the guys and the girls make their way through this new game type. And I was talking in our Discord last week about, like, if I had any choice of a TLP that I'd want to try and play, it would be a PvP EverQuest, and because I never got the chance to do the Ralosec or Talonzek servers. And it's always those stories that I've heard from DramaQuest and from people that played there are always the best. So, and like the heightened sense of realism that occurs when no holds barred. If you want the camp, and you can kill for the camp, and if you want to keep the camp, you just got to survive and make sure no one takes it. And that sounds fun to me. I imagine it's going to be a bit of a shit show, though, to be quite honest. But I'm here for it, and I don't know when I'm going to get the game. I know I probably should, because I know I'm probably going to want to join and do some PvP with everybody when it launches. And I got to figure out how the classes are and how they play. So that might happen. If it does, I'll keep us updated. I'll share my thoughts on my experience with the Pantheon. I kind of feel like it's going to be the same thing as Path of Exile 2. I think it's going to be it'll be great, but it won't be something that I'll find myself it's going to be, I don't know. I don't want to put too expectations or low expectations, but that's just how I feel about it. I'm just it doesn't look like it's ready yet. And there was another game I said that about. Oh, Embers Adrift. I was watching Embers Adrift for at least a year. Any news reports or any articles or anything that came up about people's experience playing Embers Adrift, I read through it. And for about a year and a half, I was like, this is interesting. This is definitely up my alley. This is something I want to do, but it didn't feel ready yet. The same feeling I have with Path of Exile and Pantheon. It just didn't feel like it was the right time or ready. And then they did an announcement. They were like, I can't remember what the announcement was for Pantheon. It was maybe 2 years ago, and they lowered the price, and then they said come check out the game, a big marketing push, and I was like, okay, now it might be right time. It sounds like that they're pretty happy with what they've got right now, and I played Embers Adrift, and I had an awesome time. I had at least 100 hours of great times playing Embers Adrift. So yeah, so we got, I got to wrap it up here soon because we've got raid night tonight. Where are we raiding? We're raiding the Tower of Solisek Row. We're going to raid the Plane of Water, and we're going to raid the Plane of Fire. And I don't know who my raid leader is yet. They're going to send out the announcement for that soon. So yeah, let's wrap it up. Upcoming guests. There's shout out to Doomsday. Doomsday's helping the most. He's helping connect me with guys to bring on the show, and Clucifer was amazing. Jadwin was amazing. And we've got a couple potentials that I'm also super excited about. The way I'd like to describe this guest that may come on, I personally reached out to, and in my mind, he is the loveliest, most Flight of the Concordian gentleman I've ever met, and it will be an honor and a privilege to have him on the show. Hopefully, we're scheduled, so hopefully, if everything goes smooth, we'll have that episode with this gentleman, and it's gonna be great. I mean, just his voice alone, just listening to the way he talks, you're gonna fall in love. I can't wait. And then another guest through, hopefully, if this can happen, there's a gentleman who has created something very useful for the Everquest community. And I think that's all I want to say about that. I don't want to put the person too much on blast. I just kind of, I don't want anyone to really be able to know who it is I'm talking about, so I don't want to put them on blast. Just in case it doesn't happen, I want someone to feel weird about coming on the show or not coming on the show. So hopefully this person who's created this tool will come on, and this very useful tool for the Everquest community will come on, and we can talk about that. So that's what's coming up. The raids, faceless raids are coming in tonight, or the announcements should be coming soon. So I'm going to get ready for that. Thanks again for joining. Thanks for all the messages and the comments and everything. It's super, super helpful. And yeah, hope you have a great rest of the day, evening, morning, or good night. Until next time.